currency situation. For example, if price of rupee is rising or if dollar is falling, anything, gold can be used. In fact, when the Eurozone, during the global economic crisis of 2008, IMF provided fund to many countries. So IMF was in need of money at that time. At that time in 2008, we purchased 200 tons of gold from IMF. ठीक है, वो टाइम टू टाइम हम करते रहते हैं. एंड देयर आर टू एजेंसीज फॉर नोट प्रिंटिंग. एक तो आपका सिक्योरिटी प्रिंटिंग एंड मिंटिंग कॉर्पोरेशन ऑफ इंडिया और दूसरा है भारतीय रिजर्व बैंक नोट मुद्रण प्राइवेट लिमिटेड. देयर आर टू एजेंसीज. वन इज सिक्योरिटी प्रिंटिंग एंड मिंटिंग कॉर्पोरेशन ऑफ इंडिया, which is government of India company, and another is wholly owned by RBI, that is called Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited. And in fact, we have also printed our currency in Europe. अच्छा, Make in India में there is one anomaly. We are importing the paper for currency note. So now government has said that we will start manufacturing our own paper for currency note. ठीक है, we are setting up the first factory, which will be annually we are importing around 1200 crore of paper for currency notes. And you all know now we are also going for RBI saying that it will come out with 10 rupee plastic notes. Okay, then they will say this is on pilot basis. If it works well, so I will because paper currency get torn and other thing again they have to replace. It becomes costly for RBI. Therefore, they are moving towards that. Now. RBI has one more important function. It is the banker to bank and debt manager of bank, debt manager of the government. It is the banker to government and debt manager of the government. So government has account with RBI. It will do all the banking operation for central government as well as state government if the state government has signed an agreement with it. If the state government wants that RBI should do banking function on its behalf, it will do. But mainly it is doing for central government. And it also raises money from government, and this money is raised by selling treasury bills. RBI sells treasury bills in the market. Treasury bills अभी जो चल रहा है 91 days treasury bills, 182 days, 364, it can change. Even 14 day treasury bills are there. So it is an instrument. Government sells this treasury bill, and after that the purchaser will be different financial institution. So presently it is raising money for government from the market. अच्छा, एक कमीशन बना है. हाँ.
Sir, is there a mechanism in the RBI to fight duplicate currency in the market? Established mechanism?
See, they are identifying fake currency, and you have to file police case, all those things. They have given instructions to bank. And they are even keeping an eye on currency chest. In fact, in every city you have currency chest. All the bank branch have a limitation. If money increases beyond that point, the money will be transferred to currency chest. One, they do check at bank counter, and other, they also check at currency chest. In fact, in UP, in a currency chest, duplicate note of more than 2 crore were found. उसके बाद से they are also doing check of currency note at currency chest. FIR होगा, all those things are there. And in fact, this is a financial crime. So उसके लिए even this case can be transferred to NIA and others. Basically, your अभी problem क्या आ रहा है? Pakistan is printing this currency in its own reserve bank. तो वहाँ से this currency is transferred to Dubai or Nepal or Bangladesh, and through that route they are trying to win. So crime है, पुलिस interrogate करते रहेगी.
Sir, RBI के gold reserve से कोई tally नहीं होता है?
नहीं, अब वो नहीं है.
It is independent.
No, now it is independent. That we'll come to that. Now coming to treasury bills. So Reserve Bank is selling the treasury bills of government, and it is raising fund for government. Now there is a committee called Financial Sector Legislative Reform Commission, FSLRC, Financial Sector Legislative Reform Commission. See, most of our laws are very old. They are out of tune. CRPC, IPC सब 18 है. उसी तरह हमारा banking laws भी. So Financial Sector Legislative Reform Commission, and the chairman was Justice B.N. Sri Krishna. Justice B.N. Sri Krishna. It has suggested setting up of a new office called डेप्ट मैनेजमेंट ऑफिस, DMO, इसको नोट कर लिए, इंडिपेंडेंट ऑफिस कॉल्ड डेप्ट मैनेजमेंट ऑफिस, DMO, as an autonomous body in Ministry of Finance, as an autonomous body in Ministry of Finance, and it has said that this function of RBI should be taken over by DMO. Now instead of RBI, debt management office should sell the government treasury. Okay, so and this proposal has been accepted. So in the coming years, you will find government treasury bills being sold by DMO rather than RBI. Okay. And there's one more thing. There's an instrument called Ways and Means Advance, WMA. Ways and Means Advance. Ways and Means Advance. See, earlier what happened, when government was facing problem or government had to raise money, it used to go to RBI, का पैसा दे दो. RBI used to give fund to government. Or it sold treasury bill and it raised fund from the market and gave to government. Now government said we are not able to return that money. Government was not returning that money. In that case, RBI used to print that much of currency and give it to the lender. मान लो treasury bill, this fellow has purchased the treasury bill. I am RBI. I have given this money to this fellow. He is not returning. So I will print the currency note and I will pass on to him. This was called as automatic monetization of currency or automatic monetization of loan. So the loan was automatically monetized, that amount of currency came into the market. Now after the economic reform of 1991, we ended the system, and in place of automatic monetization, we have come up with a new thing called WMA, Ways and Means Advance. WMA, Ways and Means Advance. Under Ways and Means Advance, in the beginning of the year, there is negotiation between government and RBI. In the beginning of year, beginning of financial year. उसमें होता है for the first 6 months, this is the amount of loan you will get, and for the next 6 months, this is the amount of. For example, say for first 6 months you are getting 40,000, and for the next 6 months you are getting 30,000. So total year का कितना होगा 70,000. And this money you have to return within 14 days. ये नहीं कि पैसा लिया तो अपने पास रख गए. You have to give back this money within 14 days. And the rate of interest which will be charged on that will be repo rate. And it is also not that you will get it free of cost. You have to pay certain amount of interest, and that interest is repo rate. So the basic purpose of this was, WMA, was to install fiscal discipline in the government. You must have a balance between earning and expenditure. Because if this automatic monetization keeps on going, क्या होगा? Currency print होकर market पे आएगा. If supply of money is increased, it can lead to inflation. Without, see, one thing more. If supply of money is increased, it will not always lead to inflation. If supply of money is increasing and at the same time manufacturing and supply of goods is also increasing, then it will not lead to inflation. In US, money supply has increased, but their inflation rate is quite low, 2%, 3% है. हमारे यहाँ we have a tight monetary policy, again we have inflation. So it's not that if money supply is increasing, it will always lead to inflation. But if money supply is increasing and manufacturing and supply of goods and services are not increasing, then it will lead to inflation. So one purpose was to install fiscal discipline in the government. Second, to have a better implementation of monetary policy. So RBI wants to reduce the money supply. On one hand, it is increasing interest rate, and on the other hand, it is pumping money in the market. So क्या होगा? Both are contrary to each other. So pending of this automatic monetization and introduction of WMA had been proper transfer of monetary policy downstream. Now RBI is the monetary authority, that is supply of money. Now in case of monetary policy or monetary authority, there are 3 goals. See, RBI has 3 goals in monetary policy. Number 1 is to promote growth and development. पहला इसका गोल होता है growth and development. Number 2 is your maintain low and stable inflation. Pehla number 1 is maintain growth, number 2 maintain low and stable inflation, and number 3 is your financial stability. So RBI has 3 goals in its monetary policy, and it has to maintain balance between these three goals: growth, inflation, and financial stability. For example, if excess of money is moving out of India, so due to any Eurozone crisis, FII, foreign institutional investors who have pumped so much of money, they will suddenly pull out the money. Again, the financial system becomes unstable, or if the rate of inflation is high. So RBI has and all these three goals are important. So at different time it gives different importance to each of the three. For example, from 2008 to 2012, or you can say even up to last quarter, this was the period of D. Subbarao. In the period of D. Subbarao, maximum focus was on controlling inflation. At that time, inflation rate was high. Oil price was also higher, food inflation was also there. So Subbarao continuously increased repo rate for 13 times. 13 times लगातार उसने repo rate को बढ़ाया. And in fact, there was tussle between him and P. Chidambaram Sahab. P. Chidambaram Sahab said reduce repo rate, and when a fellow asked him why you are raising the repo rate, he took out a note and said that, and on the note it is written, I promise to pay the bearer a sum of ₹100. So he said that if inflation increases, my promise will become false. तो इस पे साइन करके तुमको प्रॉमिस किया है कि भाई तुमको इतना मिलेगा. If inflation increases, you are not getting that value. So RBI always has to maintain a balance between these three things. And for controlling inflation, it has mainly raised repo rate. Now you will find that in the last 6 to 9 months, inflation has now come down. And in fact, it is also easing out. Now RBI has made a calculation that oil price will remain low for at least 6 to 9 months. Europe में crisis चल रहा है, it will not recover. Japan is into negative. Only bright spot is US. So the chart, West Asia ऐसे रो रहा होगा, तेल का पैसा नहीं मिला तो शेख क्या करेगा? He will also be crying. So everybody is crying. तो demand का है. If demand is not there, chance of inflation is not there. So RBI has now calculated that for next say up to 9 months, it will remain low. So now you will find that they have lowered the repo rate. So therefore, this is a policy challenge for RBI. Now how it controls, see, money supply is based on two things. You can control money supply by two methods. One is your direct method or quantitative. Let's say credit policy or money supply. There are two measures. One is direct or quantitative. The second is indirect or qualitative. Indirect, you have CRR, SLR, refinancing, etc. It is direct. I am coming to that one by one. See, first come to CRR. The banks have to deposit a certain percentage of the total deposit with RBI. It is around 4%. So if a bank has a deposit of ₹1 lakh, 4,000 will be 4% of 4,000 will be given to RBI. 4% direct चला जाता है RBI के पास. This is your CRR, cash reserve ratio. 4%, the rate is now 4%. Now on CRR, banks do not get any interest. Even there was controversy on CRR. The last chairman, the previous chairman of State Bank of India, Pradeep Chaudhary, he raised the issue of CRR. Pradeep Chaudhary said that, abhi to Arundhati, I think. So Pradeep Chaudhary raised this issue of CRR. He said that banks do not get any interest on CRR. So on 4%, bank is not getting interest. So it is hurting their profitability. First point he said that. Second, he said that if money supply is not going into the market, it is again impacting the growth of the economy. Second point was that. Third point was that CRR is implemented only on banks. Other institutions in the financial market like mutual fund, insurance industry and others, they have no such norms. So they are able to give better return to the customers. Now bank has to raise money from the market. If it is not giving good return, why people will deposit money in the banks? So then again D. Subbarao said that, it was also occurred around 12. D. Subbarao said that CRR has been important policy in credit supply. So if you say this is CRR 4%, if I increase it to 8%, what will happen? Money supply will reduce. One is CRR and another is SLR, statutory liquidity ratio. Another is SLR, statutory liquidity ratio. This money bank has to keep with itself. SLR, bank has to keep with itself in liquidity form because customer can come for money. And this can be either cash, gold or government securities. SLR can be cash, gold or government securities. ठीक है, तीनों हो सकता है. Now say it is 22 now. So 22 plus 4, 26. So in market the fund which is going is minus 76. Sorry. So 74 rupees. Whatever is the deposit with the bank, they can lend up to 74% to the market. So economic money supply will be there. Say I want to reduce the money supply. I will increase CRR to 8, I will increase SLR to say 26. Now it is 100 minus 34, 66. So directly, see, in case of NBFC certain rules are there. There are different categories of NBFC and for them they have put certain amount of law. But say in case of NBFC, there is lot of, you can say, confusion. NBFC are regulated by, one is there is slight role of RBI, there is role of SEBI, there is role of state government. So there are n number of players and nobody is taking care of that. That is why you will find that in case of NBFC for last 10 years, repeatedly scam after scam is occurring. SATA scam is not new. Such 100 of such scam is occurring in every state. कहीं ईमू साउथ इंडिया में दे आर से ईमू फार्मिंग, ऑस्ट्रिच फार्मिंग, कहीं पेड़ लगा रहा है, 10 रुपीज में पेड़ लगेगा, आफ्टर 10 years it will become 1 lakh rupees. So you will getting this much of return. So these NBFC have, अच्छा वापस आता है एक मिनट. So CRR and SLR they have direct impact. And next one your question on refinance. Refinance is sector specific. For example, National Housing Bank provides refinance for housing sector. Similarly, there is a bank called NABARD, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. NABARD is providing refinance for agriculture sector. NABARD provides refinance for agriculture sector. So government announces certain scheme, so it will transfer the fund to NABARD and through NABARD this fund will go to the banks. NABARD में एक और scheme है, there is an important scheme called RIDF. Rural Infrastructure Development Fund. Rural Infrastructure Development Fund, RIDF. See, for banks, there is a thing called Priority Sector Lending. Priority Sector Lending. Under RBI norms, banks have to lend 40% of their total loan to agriculture and allied sector. Commercial banks have to give 40% of their loan to agriculture and allied sector and some other sector. Number one is agriculture allied, another is small scale industry, retail trade, housing loan less than 25 lakh, education loan, loan to lower category group, microfinance, etc. ठीक है, 100 में 40 रुपीज इसका लोन देना है. एग्रीकल्चर का रेशियो है 18%, 18. Out of 100 rupees, 18 rupees must go to agriculture. Now, if banks are not able to provide that much loan to agriculture, so there is a gap. So, मान लो gap है 500 crore. So, that bank will deposit this money in RIDF. Lending shortfall to agriculture is deposited into Rural Infrastructure Development Fund, and through RIDF, funding of state government projects in agriculture and rural development is done. ठीक है, जो shortfall in lending to agriculture था, that is completed through this mechanism. You deposit, the concerned bank will deposit the fund in RIDF, and through RIDF, this money is given to projects of state government in agriculture and rural development, and even rural roads. This is also an example of your direct control or direct or quantitative control. Now let's come to indirect or quantitative. In case of indirect, one is your first is liquidity adjustment facility, LAF. Liquidity adjustment facility, LAF. It has two components, repo and reverse repo. Repo rate and reverse repo. So I am not going into detail. So repo rate. See, banks require fund for short term. Say today, large number of people have come for taking out money. I know that tomorrow, n number of people will also deposit their money. So I do not require fund for long term. I require fund for short term. Say 7 days, 10 days or even 1 day. So for short term funding you have this facility of LAF, and under it you have two things. One is repo, another is reverse repo. Now in case of repo rate, see, under SLR all the banks have government securities. Based on these government securities, they issue financial instrument to RBI and they raise money from RBI. So I have 10,000 crore of government security. Based on this security, I will issue repo to the Reserve Bank of India, repurchase option. I will buy it back. So temporarily I am giving you, based on my government security, I am giving repo to central bank and I am raising money from bank. And this is for short period. Presently repo is given for 7 days. Abhi repo is provided for 7 days. And the rate of interest, your present rate of repo is 7.75. Earlier it was 8, abhi just come here, 7.75. See, repo has been the instrument which has been used mostly by central bankers, particularly in India. If we talk in terms of India, repo has been used most. CRR and SLR, they are not touched generally. D. Subbarao Sahab, he also raised repo. Now, Raghuram Rajan Sahab is lowering it. So we'll find that repo has been used regularly. Reverse repo came late. Under reverse repo, RBI is raising money from banks for short period and the interest is 1% less. See, repo and reverse repo are linked. Whatever is repo, to say 8%, 1% less will be reverse repo. So, if repo rate comes down, what happens? Banks get funding at lower interest, so bank will give also interest at low. So this is indirect method. See, banks have to regularly raise funds from RBI for day-to-day adjustment. That is your repo and reverse repo. Then a government facility that is called Marginal Standing Facility, MSF.
Reverse repo we use for inflation control?
No, normally see, RBI will not require, but for some time if it requires, it can raise fund from banking system under reverse rate. Short period.
So this won't lead to reduce in money supply, directly reducing the inflation pressure if it's there.
See, I am coming to a point. See what happens if you raise the interest rate, what will happen? Loan will become costly. If repo is increased, your loan EMI rate will go up. So what happens? You will take low amount of loan. If the amount of loan is reduced, money supply in the market is reduced. So this is an indirect method of funding. Another is that is what we talked about MSF, marginal standing facility, MSF. See, repo you will get on your government, your treasury bonds. Say I have exhausted all my treasury bond. I had 10,000 crore worth of treasury bond and I had exhausted all my treasury bond. So when my all treasury bonds are exhausted, then also I need money. Then I will get fund under this marginal standing facility, which is 1% of the net deposit and time liability. Say I have 1,000 crore. So I can get up to 10 crore from RBI under this marginal standing facility, which is over and above repo. First I will raise fund under repo. If that is exhausted, then I will go for this year. And the rate of interest at present is your 8.75. ये higher होता है. मतलब साथ रहता है. Normally it is higher. Presently it is same 8.75, but normally it is on the upper side.
Sir, is it the same as bank rate?
No, bank rate for long period. Under bank rate, Reserve Bank gives funding to bank for a longer period. Banks generally do not go for bank rate because they require funding for short period. So day to day उसमें variation होता रहता है. So today more people are demanding money. Tomorrow more people will deposit money. Bank rate is generally for a medium to longer period.
This will be higher than
Bank rate अभी it is that is higher. It is 8.75. That is higher. अच्छा. Now an important goal of government presently which is there, that is financial inclusion. You all are hearing about Jan Dhan. So what is financial inclusion? Financial inclusion is providing appropriate financial product to all section of society. Appropriate financial product. Okay, it includes bank account, micro insurance, pension scheme, health insurance, everything. So when we talk in terms of financial inclusion, it is not only bank, but bank is one aspect of financial inclusion. We say that the people should be given all these things. छोटा मोटा इसलिए आप देखो this year Jan Dhan Yojana what they have done. They have provided life insurance, accidental insurance up to 1 lakh. Life insurance they are saying 30,000. And if you are doing well, you may be given an overdraft of 5,000. So, see, this thing was started long back. In fact, the goal of nationalization of banks, the private sector banks were taken over by government, they were nationalized with the purpose to increase financial inclusion. That was the central goal of government at that time. So it has not been completed, that is why this time government actively went for this financial inclusion, that is first is bank account. और उसका main goal है government का कि they have to go for DBT. The central theme behind this financial inclusion is that government will ultimately move to DBT in the next 2 years. Next 2 to 3 years or next 5 years में तो complete move करना है toward DBT. That is why this is the first step toward that. अच्छा, there was a committee called Nachiket More Committee. Nachiket More Committee. इस कमेटी का जो नाम था कमिटी फॉर is asking for applying for license for 3 types of banks. One is universal bank, which is existing, and 2 new types of banks have come in picture. That is your small bank and payment bank. These small bank and payment banks are based on the recommendation of Nachiket More Committee. That is this point only. licensing. Nationally focused bank, including payment bank, wholesale consumer bank, wholesale investment bank. It had proposed कि why be dependent on one source? Why not come out with new types of bank which will be doing different type of functions? Based on this recommendation, you have come out with two new type of banks. Then reorienting focus of NABARD and all those things. So main thing was here, these two. One was it said that everybody should be a bank given a bank account, and it also said further that there should be a deposit or withdrawal facility every 5 minutes walk. यानी 5 मिनट के अंदर में आपको ATM मिलना चाहिए. ठीक है, काफी comprehensive इसका था. So priority sector lending and all those things. Now based on this, now we have come out with new types of bank. Two new types of bank have arrived on the scene, though they have not opened, but they have arrived on the scene and they have asked for
recommendation given?
ये 2004 ये 2007 January 2014 January 14 था. ठीक है, this recommendation came in January 14 and toward the end of year we are coming out with new types of banks. ठीक है, दो नए बैंक आ रहे हैं.